Hi everyone, it's Katie here, and today I'm really excited to share with you how to use interactive curriculum resources such as the Abridge Academy resources on iPads, phones and any mobile device. So one of the biggest challenges online teachers face is how to get your students to really engage with your teaching materials, and that's why the Abridge Academy resources are designed with lots of drag and drop and click and interactive activities that kids can really engage with. But one of the problems at the moment is that most of the software we're using, such as Zoom or ClassIn, is simply not designed for students to be able to do this. So today I want to talk to you about a tool called Surfly. Surfly is a co-browsing tool. Now co-browsing is a bit different to normal screen sharing in that you and your student are directly interacting with a shared web browser. That means when you open up the Abridge Academy slides in the web browser, both you and your student are able to click and to drag and drop and to type and to interact as if it was open on your own computer.
Okay, so let's have a look at how to use Surfly. So first you need to go to the Surfly website, that's simply surfly.com, and you'll need to register and create an account. You'll notice that at the moment they're offering a free 14-day trial to get started, so you can try things out before you pay. So first thing you do when you open up Surfly and you've logged in is you get to this dashboard and you see a big button in the front here where you type in the URL you want to visit and you click Start Session to get started. Okay, so you'll notice here it pops up with the option to share this link in order to send it to your students. You can also send it via email, WhatsApp, and so on. I normally just copy the link, or you just click copy. And then we can close this window. Okay, and then within the website, you simply navigate to the lesson that you're looking for. So let's just start off with one of the basic lessons from level A1. And we'll just start with the welcome lesson. Now, if you're new to Abridge Academy, this lesson is actually available for free within our free tier, along with a few others, so you can always sign up and try things out before you start paying. And then once the slides are loaded up, you see it doesn't really fit very nicely within the screen, but that's no problem. You can just simply go to full screen mode. So now we're ready for your students to join. So this point is when I would send that link that we copied across to your student, or if you've neglected to do that, you'll find the tools along the top here, and you can simply click on participants, click invite, and that brings up that same window again to copy the link and then send to your student. Okay, so I've just got the student set up here on my phone, as you can see, and it appears on the screen, just like we can see on the main screen here. So I'm just gonna pop that to the side. And now we're gonna click through and start enjoying our class together. So you do introductions and so on. I'm gonna skip through this part. We're gonna focus on the more interactive elements. Okay, so now we've got to one of the interactive slides where you want your student to be able to click on things to reveal what is hidden behind the cards. So you go to the top of the screen where it says participants, you go to your student and you click give control. This now gives them control to directly interact with the slides as if it was just on their computer, on their device. So you see on the screen here, they've got the same cards and they can click. And it reveals behind it the little picture. So as you're doing this, you get the students say, oh, how are they? They're happy, they're sad, and so on. Now, you as a teacher can also do some things from your end, even when you're not the main one in control of the slides. For example, here we've got a pen tool. That's quite useful for certain specific things on the screen. And you notice this pencil, after a few seconds, it fades away. That's quite cool if you want to sort of circle one little thing on the screen. Oh, how is he feeling? How is he? And then the student can reply, but then you don't have to manually erase stuff. So that's quite convenient. Now, if you do want to draw things permanently on the screen, you will need to take back control, and then you can just use the annotation tools that are built into the slides themselves. Okay, here we have a writing section. This is where you're showing your student how to spell the word hello. And you could just move it for them, so you can drag and drop and move around these things on the screen quite easily, but we want our student to do that. So we're going to go to the top of the screen where it says participants. We're going to go to our students. My phone is follower number 2. And give them control. Now they can now control everything that's on the screen. So on my phone, I can now click and move things around. This is my phone that's doing this, and I can move things on the screen here, just as if they were using your computer directly. Okay, now we got here a fun game, and this is really great for practicing some of the vocabulary that you've learned in the lesson. So here we've learned hello, goodbye, happy, and sad. So those 4 key words. You see them in this tic-tac-toe game. So if you want your students to join in the game with you, maybe you've got a couple of students, you can simply use the control at the top here to give them control, and then they can move their counter on the screen in order to participate in the game. And my tip is always that they've got to say the word before they can put their counter on that square of the board. So that's a really fun game you can play with your students. Okay, here's another one of my favorite activities. These are the puzzle slides. So on the puzzle slide, the idea is that you have a picture and you can drag and drop the pieces to make your completed puzzle. And it's quite a good discussion point because from there you can ask them to describe what they see in the picture, how are they feeling, what are they doing, where are they, that kind of thing. So obviously we want our student to have control, so we give control back to our students. So you can see as a student, I can then move things around the screen to build my puzzle. A little clunky doing this on my phone here. If your student's using an iPad, it does definitely work a lot smoother. And they can make the completed puzzle. Okay, now we've got to a drawing slide. And again, this is something, it works fine on Zoom or that kind of software because you can just use the built-in annotation tools. But if your students are using Surfly, then you'll want to use the tools that are built into the slides. You're going to give them control again. Then on the student's device, they're simply going to click on the pen tool. They're going to select the color that they want. And then they can draw in the boxes. Okay, so that was a quick introduction to using the Abridge Academy resources here on Surfly. Okay, I want to very quickly just show you the document upload tool. This is great if you're supplementing the main slides with your own worksheets or extra resources. You can open up PDF files, Word documents, I think slides as well, images, any kind of extra document you might want to share with your students. So you simply go to share a document at the top right of the screen here. Find the document that you're looking for. And then it will open up here on the screen for both you and your student to see and edit together. Now with PDF files, you should be able to sort of annotate and add small, simple annotations on them. And if you make the PDF files such as got like a fillable box that you can type in the answers, you and your student can both type in those boxes together as well. So it's really quite useful and means you and your student can collaborate on documents. When you've finished, you simply go to the top here where it says menu, and you can click download or print if you want to save it then to your computer. Your student can also do the same. Okay, a final thing I want to quickly show you is the chat tool. So you see in the top right corner, there's a little button that says chat. Click on that and it gives you the option to just message back and forth between you and your student. Now, this is not only useful for sending messages about like technical problems, like can you see me properly or what's wrong with your microphone, unmute yourself please, that kind of thing, but also for sending example sentences relating to what you're learning in the lesson, or maybe in a discussion they've made a small mistake. You can simply type in the box here and send them the corrected sentence. They can also do it from their end. They simply click on chat and they can type in the message and send that as a message, and then you can see it here as well. So that can be quite helpful if you want to do a few more like writing sentences and so on. Okay, now when you finish the session, you simply go to the top here where it says end session, you click on that, and then you can end the session for everyone. Both you and your student will then be kicked out of the classroom.
Okay, I want to end with a quick summary of some of the advantages and disadvantages of Surfly, particularly focused on those relevant for online ESL teachers. So, first advantage is of course that you can use interactive online curriculum resources like the Abridge Academy resources, including on iPads, on phones, on any kind of mobile device. That's something that's simply not possible if you're using Zoom, Classin, or any other of the popular teaching software out there. Second advantage is that you can more generally browse the web together. For example, if you have other websites you use that have got built-in games that you like to play, you can easily jump across to those and play those games together as well. Okay, third advantage, you can collaborate together on documents and files. That could be great for worksheets, or if you've got images that you like to use as like a discussion point and have more free talk around those. That can be great if you want to extend beyond the basic slides and focus on things that your student needs some extra practice on. Okay, fourth advantage, I didn't show you this on the demo because it was going to be too complicated with lots of videos on the screen, but it has built-in video and audio. Just like on Zoom, it appears on the right-hand side, your student and your faces, and you can talk to each other directly. And the fifth advantage is the built-in chat tool. This is really helpful if you want to send like corrections to your students or example sentences or want them to practice writing. They can just send it in the chat. Okay, let's look now at the disadvantages. First big disadvantage, Surfly is blocked in mainland China. So if you're teaching students who are located in mainland China, they won't be able to use Surfly unless they've got a VPN. And a VPN is going to slow down their connection, which is not really ideal for a live video class. Second big disadvantage, this is that there's no recording option within Surfly. So if you're someone who likes to record your classes, you're going to need to use an external tool to do that, or maybe ask your students to screen record themselves from their end. That's different to, say, Zoom or ClassIn, where you've got a built-in recording option. Okay. Third disadvantage, there's no general whiteboard tool. So because it's designed for co-browsing and looking at the web together, they haven't built in a whiteboard system like you have on Zoom or on ClassIn. So you can use web-based whiteboards like Mirrorboard, for example, and just jump across to that within Surfly, but it's not built into the app itself. Okay, fourth disadvantage, there's quite limited ability to annotate on the screen. Because it's not a static screen share, you're not meant to be annotating on it. They haven't really built that functionality into Surfly. So whereas on Zoom, if there's a picture or something that students don't recognize on the screen, you can just type some text on top of it to have that on the screen as a visual prompt for them. On Surfly, that's not possible. The annotation tool is limited to a very simple circling or highlighting pen tool that fades away after a few seconds. It's just for like quickly circling something. So if you want to send some text, you'd have to use a chat box for that instead. So that's a little bit clunky. Now, it might be that you're using resources or you've got a worksheet that's got boxes like areas where students can type directly. If that's built into the resource, then yes, you can type and they can edit alongside with you. But it's just that there's not a general annotation over the top of whatever you want tool. Okay, next disadvantage, you can't share applications that are within your computer, like computer applications. It's only for web-based resources or files that you've directly uploaded within Surfly itself. So maybe you've got like a game or something that's like on your computer, not an internet-based game, you wouldn't be able to share that using Surfly. Finally, there's not really any options for scheduling classes in advance or setting up like a recurring meeting or something like that. It's more something you'd have to send the student directly that link just before the start of the class for them to join. Okay, and the final disadvantage, I have come across a very occasional technical glitch, particularly with the screen sizing. There are obviously ways to resolve that, but that can make the start of your session a little bit clunky.
Okay, now sometimes you find that when your student enters the classroom, what they see on their screen doesn't perfectly match what's on your screen. So this is troubleshooting a quick issue that sometimes happens. So this iPad is very old. I think it has a few issues because of that. You'll notice that the screen size has not really set properly. So the way to solve this, simply go to the top of the screen and click Set Screen Size, and make sure you've set it to the screen size of your student. It should say on its tablet and like the screen size there. You then want to click on Participants, give control to that student. And then your student needs to click on the bottom right corner and click the full screen button to open it again in full screen.
Okay, well, that was an overview of Surfly. We worked through how to use it with your students, talked about some of the advantages and the disadvantages. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, don't forget to give it a like and follow for more videos like this. I'm also going to put in the description below a link to the Surfly website where you can get a 14-day free trial, at least at the moment, so check that out. And also a link to the Abridge Academy resources if you want to have this kind of interactive curriculum for your online ESL classes. So I hope you found that useful, and I'll see you again next time.